Hey crafters, welcome to Paulette's Pretty Paper Crafts. It is December 21st and it is, oh no, it's the 22nd. Time is escaping me. I hope it's not escaping you. This project turned out so cute and I'm just thrilled with the way it came together. I was at Hobby Lobby and I found these really cute spatulas that are these little gingerbread men. They did have other ones. There was a snowman and there was a Christmas tree. They were also in their respective colors. So the snowman was all white and the Christmas tree was green with a green handle. I just loved the gingerbread man. He just seemed so much to me to say cookies, baked cookies. So I thought that was really fun. Several months ago, actually, gosh, last year, I picked up some vintage cookie cutters, and there were 3, and they were like $1.50 or $2 a piece, and I just grabbed those, and Katie and Amber are getting the silver ones, and I'll keep the copper one for myself because he doesn't really have to match anything, and just tied these together. I just really love the way this come together, and this is their treat for Christmas this year, so I think that'll just be really fun. I don't know if I mentioned the first spoon that I did was the other way. I had turned it this way and wrote on it just because this end is larger and that seemed most natural to me, but then it was hard to hold on to while I was wood burning it. And I realized after the first 2 that, wow, if I turned it this way, I could hold on to the handle while I was wood burning and have a lot better control. And that worked out just a lot better. Let's talk about tying bows. This little brown ribbon actually is a Muse ribbon after they closed their store and they started making all their girls be demos. And I won a little pack from one of them, and that was really cute. I thought that would be really good to go with just kind of the browns. And then I wanted to dress this up a little bit because the gingerbread man didn't have any color. So I pulled out this little rickrack ribbon. It was in one of my Simon Says stamp goodie packs, jelly bean soup, which is just some really fun ribbons, a yard of each ribbon, I think. So I thought that would be really cute, and just made a loop like you would for an ornament, and then slip that loop under here and thread that back up through there and just hang him on there like that. And then the girls can do, you know, what they want with that. So let's look at tying a bow. I know that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with, and my mom taught me to do this a long time ago, and it just makes it so simple. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed, the same rule applies. So you're going to take your ribbon and you're just going to put one loop in it. Doesn't matter how it ends up. The rule is the one that comes out on the bottom is your first loop, and the one that comes out the top is the one that goes over and under and becomes your second loop. Then you just tighten everything up, and there's your bow. So super simple. So let's do it. Let's do it the other way because I'm right-handed. I naturally go left over right. So I'm assuming a left-handed person might do it the other way. So I just want to show you that this will work, regardless of whether you're right-handed or left-handed. So there we are, one loop. The strip that comes out the bottom is your first loop. The strip that came out the top is your loop over. And voila. There's your perfect bow every time, right-handed or left-handed. All right, I'll have another project coming up. I'm making a gift for my husband, and my son ended up doing most of the work. I know, but I don't have any money to buy a gift, so I always make him a handmade gift most of the time. 9 times out of 10, And it's a nautical theme, so you may want to pop back and see what that is. Have you guys ever been to the Makeit-Loveit blog? Oh my gosh. Ashley is a mom of 4 children, and she does all kinds of home renovation ideas, sewing tutorials, clothing remake, redos out of your clothes you already have. Just amazing. So on her blog this year for December 2015, she has posted a really fun hostess gift, which are these very inexpensive wooden spoons. Oh, I burned the edge of that one. I'll have to sand on that a little bit. I think Katie's going to get that set, so it'll be all right. These were the 4-piece wooden spoon sets by the MainStays, and they were in these little plastic things. I believe 4 spoons per package for $2. You take a wood burning tool and you're supposed to print out your words on paper and then tape them on here and kind of trace around them to get an idea. Because I could not print, I just drew on my spoons with a little lead pencil. You're going to wood burn over it anyway. My best tip is you need a pencil that is a little bit dull. This was a very sharp pencil, and it was leaving marks in my spoons, so I ended up scribbling on a piece of cardstock to try to blunt the edge of my pencil. So the more worn out pencil you have, the better. You want to try not to press into the wood. I don't know if you can see on this one. I pressed in a little too much, and the wood burning was not as forgiving for my old hands as I thought it would be. And I ended up, there's a line right here between the W and the H, which was my H. And I ended up having to move over because my W traveled a little bit while I was creating it. And that's okay. I just used a big eraser and erased that. I will sand on that a little bit before I treat these. I'm going to use mineral oil to kind of seal these and then package them up and give them for Christmas. So really fun. So here's my little wood burning tool. And let me tell you, I started out with this odd little tip. And I think you're probably supposed to use it this way, with it flat and flush to your wood, but I used it the upside down so I could kind of draw into the wood. That was really hard. That little tip just wanted to sink down in and burn down into the wood, and I got some very jiggly wood burning out of that. I think Ashley used this tip, which is kind of a chiseled tip, but I was afraid that was going to be difficult. It might have been okay. It's got a very sharp point on it. I actually ended up using, tried this tip, which is a little bit of what I would call a bullet tip. And that was a little bit better, but it also wanted to sink. I would go along, and some of the wood was a little bit softer. And you can kind of see here, like on the T, where I would come along and then boom, sink down in. So I actually ended up going to this very, very rounded but blunt tip. And it seemed to really glide the best for my hands. I did use a potholder. And look what I did to my potholder. I burned this with the wood burning tool. And then I ended up bringing in my Tim Holtz craft mat. And look, I burned it too. So be really careful. I did this on my lap. And probably, maybe up here would have been better, but I had my legs crossed and used my leg to lay my arm on, and then had my pot holder on my leg as well. You do have to be really careful. This little edge down here, when I got too low, that's what burned my pot holder, was this fatter edge, not the tip. My wood burning tool got so hot up here. And this is the way I write, with my middle finger under and my index finger on top. And that ended up being so hot that part of the time I had to bring my middle finger up to the tool. So those might be some things just to consider. But all in all, I think it did really good. After I moved to this tip, I was able to get some very smooth writing. on my spoon. It was a first try, and I think these turned out really cute. So I'm going to do for Amber and Katie and Mom and Becca, and then I've got a couple extras for myself and maybe for my neighbor Bonnie, who always brings us a goodie bucket of some kind with some baked goods and some candies and all kinds of different goodies in there. So I want to be sure and thank her. And hey, there's another project under the crunch. So if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. I love how this project turned out. Thank you for joining me today. Have a very, very Merry Christmas.